get yourself to blame. Hi there guys, Teacher Hafa here, the tutor of teachers. Guys, in this video, I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about the worst students I've ever had in my teaching career and what they have taught me. It's not all flowers, throughout the process, we're gonna have difficult students, people that we don't really connect, we don't actually bond with them, and okay, and what can we learn from them? It's something really important we need to consider. So here are some tips on those. The bossy student, this is a classic one. This is a person who owns the process and they take their time to speak. They change the subject whenever they want. Usually is more of a higher position people in the company, like general managers and directors. Usually is more stressed people, and they need to chill out. In this class has to be a moment for them to talk, but not to add more stress to the process. They're difficult people to deal with. It's difficult, but at the same time it teaches you a lot about class management. They teach you how to take control of the class, take control of the process, of the timing. So these people can teach you a lot. It's quite good to have these people in your class. Second, and very classic profile, the suspicious student, that person who is always a little suspicious of the process. They don't really follow what you say, and they test you a lot. They test with vocabulary, they test you with the process. Sometimes they test you to make sure if you follow through with the things you promise, things you say it's going to happen. And this is so important about the positioning, that everything you say, everything you promise, you take note. Don't forget to follow through on your promise, on things you say is going to happen throughout the process. Okay, so suspicious students teach you a lot about taking notes on what you say, and be careful with what you say, because they are there to catch you. The distracted student, a classic one. They are there more to chill out, to have a good moment. Usually they're not straight to the point kind of people. They get distracted easily, they go off track so easily. So this is something that can teach you a lot, this kind of student, because remember, we need to bond, we need to report with the student, with the person, but at the same time it's your student, you're their teacher, it's not their friend. Even if it is your friend, you're having a process as a student and tutor process. Okay, so you need to control, remind every single moment. You need to remind yourself every single moment that this interaction is not just for leisure purposes. You're not just chit chatting, you're not just gossiping. Okay, so these people can teach you a lot about time management, about taking care of the process, taking control of the whole situation, in terms of not just having fun. It has to be a light and fun moment, but at the same time you're the director of the whole thing. You're not just watching. The class representative, somebody who takes control. They take ownership of most of the answers. These people usually can develop a better level of English. They can normally they get a better fluency than the rest of the class, and they take control. They can even become the teacher, become the host, and asking people questions. It's something complicated. You need to watch out for these people. They can teach you a lot about ownership in the class, especially when you have a group class. You need to make sure everybody has a say, everybody has their moment, and then you are sharing equally the attention, sharing the time for thoughts. These people has usually very little patience, and it could happen that they interrupt the colleagues, and then they rush the other people into answers. So it's something that can teach you a lot about the ownership as a whole. The whiny one is a classic. Everybody has a whiny student. They complain about the light, they complain about the internet, even though it's not in your internet that is having problems. They complain about the audio. I have had many of those. They could be a really difficult student to deal with. It's hard because you need to manage in a certain way. What is your feedback to their complaints? And they complain about every single thing, especially in presential classes. I have people complaining about the lighting. But in this seat specifically here in this place in the classroom, I can get enough light, and they ask to switch with the other student, and they complain about the map in the book. But these directions class here, I can see in the map, teacher. Okay, I didn't write the book. Guys, most of all, something you need to always keep in mind, it's nothing personal. This can affect you a lot. I have had moments where I was affected big time. Really difficult students and people who complains about everything. And so, guys, my main tip here on this subject is that you should take ownership. You know where you're going with the process. Study well the process, study well the book, the method that you're using to avoid these little things. You're gonna have them, so one way or another. You're gonna face difficult students. They have taught me so much throughout the process. I have had students that ask every single bit of the book, so that taught me to know every single bit of the book because they might ask you. So these are my tips for you. Don't take it personally. This is most of all, don't take it personally. They're not there to attack you. They're not there to make your life harder. You are there to make their life easier, but you're there with a purpose. You're there with a goal. You're not there just to listen them to complain about work, about life. Okay, there's a goal to every interaction. There's a goal for the meeting, a purpose to the project. At the same time, you're a motivator. Okay, you don't listen too much, but okay, let's go. We can do it. You can point out things they are improving to make sure they are motivated with the process. But don't take it personally because it's not. You're a professional. They're there to get a professional service. So this is what you're gonna provide. Okay. So comment below what was your most difficult student you've ever had, and or what kind of profile of student you were mostly afraid of, having in throughout your career, and everyday new tips. Okay. See ya.